Emily was a quiet girl. She had just moved to a new house with her parents. The house was old but beautiful. It had big windows, wooden floors, and a small garden at the back. Emily's new room was on the top floor. It had a big window and a small bookshelf. She liked the room very much. On the first night, Emily could not sleep. Everything felt new and different. The wind outside made soft sounds. The room was quiet. The next morning, Emily looked around her room. She opened the cupboard to put her clothes inside. At the back of the cupboard, she saw something strange. There was a small gap in the wood. Emily touched it. A piece of paper fell out. She picked it up. It was an old letter. The paper was yellow and the ink had faded. The letter said, "If you found this, you are special. Follow the rose in the garden. You will find the truth." Emily felt excited. Who wrote this? What did it mean? That afternoon, she went to the garden. Her mother was busy in the kitchen, so Emily went alone. She looked at all the flowers. There were many, but only one red rose. She bent down and looked around the rows. There was nothing at first. But then she saw a small stone that looked different from the others. She picked it up. Under the stone was a tiny key. Emily held the key in her hand. It was cold and silver. She didn't know what it opened, but she knew this was just the beginning of something special. Emily ran upstairs to her room with the tiny silver key in her hand. Her heart was beating fast. She looked around the room. What could the key open? She checked her cupboard again. Nothing. She checked her drawers. Still nothing. Then she looked at the old bookshelf. There were a few old books, but one shelf had a small wooden box pushed to the back. Emily pulled the box out carefully. It was dusty and had a small keyhole in the front. "This must be it," she whispered. She put the silver key into the hole. It fit perfectly. The box opened. Inside, there was a folded piece of paper and a small necklace with a heart-shaped pendant. Emily picked up the paper. It was another letter. "Dear reader, if you have come this far, you are brave. This necklace once belonged to my sister, Lily. She disappeared many years ago. I believe she left clues behind. Please help me find out what happened to her. SM." Emily sat down on her bed. Her hands were shaking. "Who is SM? Who is Lily? What happened to her?" she said aloud. She looked at the heart-shaped pendant. It was shiny, with a tiny flower carved into it. It looked very old. Suddenly, Emily remembered something. Her neighbor, Mrs. Collins, was very old. She had lived in this street for many years. Maybe she knew something. That afternoon, Emily visited Mrs. Collins. She brought some cookies as a gift. "Hello, dear," said Mrs. Collins with a warm smile. "How do you like your new house?" "It's lovely," said Emily, "but I found something strange. May I ask you something?" "Of course." Emily showed her the necklace and the letter. Mrs. Collins's face changed. She looked surprised. "I remember Lily," she said softly. "She was a kind girl. She lived in your house a long time ago, but one day she was gone. Nobody knew where she went." Her sister, Sophie, was heartbroken. "I think that's Yasim. Sophie Morgan." Emily's eyes grew wide. "Do you know anything else?" Mrs. Collins nodded slowly. "People said Lily left clues before she disappeared, but no one ever found them." Emily looked at the necklace again. "I want to find out the truth," she said. "I think Lily left more clues. I'm going to follow them." Mrs. Collins smiled gently. "Be careful, dear, and trust your heart." Emily walked home slowly, holding the necklace tightly in her hand. Her mind was full of questions. Who was Lily? Why did she disappear? What kind of clues did she leave? Back in her room, Emily looked at the heart-shaped pendant again. She turned it around and noticed something very small on the back. It was a tiny symbol, a flower with 5 petals and a star in the middle. She took a closer look. Below the flower, there were 3 small numbers. 3, 1, 5. "Is this a code?" Emily whispered. She remembered the old bookshelf. There were 3 books on the top shelf. She looked at the 3rd book first. It was a poetry book. She opened the first page. There was nothing unusual. Then she turned to page 15. There, in small handwriting, were the words, "The stars shine bright where secrets hide. Look behind the moon where dreams reside." It wasn't part of the poem. Someone had written it later. Emily felt a chill. Was this a riddle? She looked around her room. On the wall above her bed was a painting of the night sky. It had stars and a big, full moon. Emily had noticed it before, but never thought much about it. She took the picture off the wall. On the back, there was a piece of paper taped to the frame. Her hands shook as she pulled it off. It was a map of the house. But something was different. One part of the map was marked with a red X. It showed the small attic above the top floor. Emily had never been there. Her parents had said it was just for old boxes and storage. That night, Emily could hardly sleep. She kept thinking about the map, the riddle, and the attic. She knew she had to go there. The next morning, after breakfast, she told her mom she wanted to clean her room. When her mother went outside to water the plants, Emily grabbed a flashlight and a chair. She climbed up and opened the small attic door in the ceiling. Dust fell down, and the air smelled old. She pulled herself up slowly. The attic was dark and quiet. Old boxes sat in the corners. Spider webs hung from the beams. Then she saw it. A small wooden chest, half hidden behind an old curtain. Emily's heart pounded. She walked over to it and opened the lid. Inside was an old diary. On the first page, it said, "This is the secret diary of Lily Morgan. If you are reading this, please help me. I'm in danger." Emily gasped. What had she found? Emily sat down in the dusty attic, holding Lily Morgan's diary in her hands. Her heart beat faster with every word she read. The first few pages were filled with simple stories about school, friends, and her sister Sophie. Lily seemed happy. But then the tone of the diary changed. One entry caught Emily's eye. It was written in shaky handwriting. "I saw a man in the garden again last night. I don't know who he is, but he's always watching. I told Sophie, but she didn't believe me. I think he's after something hidden in our house." Emily looked around the attic. Was there something else hidden here? She read on. "I found an old box in the attic. Inside was a letter from someone called EJ. It said there is a secret hidden below the floor. I think it's something important. I'll look tomorrow. If anything happens to me, tell Sophie to be brave." Emily stood up and looked at the floor. It was made of wooden boards. One of them, near the corner, looked a little different, slightly loose. She knelt down and carefully lifted the board. Underneath was a small metal tin. She opened it slowly. Inside, there was another letter and a photograph. The photo showed Lily and another girl. They were standing in front of the garden, smiling. On the back of the photo, someone had written, "Lily and Emma, summer 1982. Emily read the letter next. "I don't know how much time I have left. If you are reading this, I'm probably gone. I was right. The man was after something hidden in our house. I found an old necklace, the one with the flower symbol, and I think it's the key to a secret room. But I'm scared to go alone. If someone finds this, please find Emma. She will know what to do." Emily sat back, stunned. The necklace was important. But who was Emma? She rushed downstairs and ran next door to Mrs. Collins. "Mrs. Collins," she cried, "did Lily have a friend named Emma?" Mrs. Collins looked surprised. "Yes. Emma James." They were very close. But after Lily disappeared, Emma left town. No one saw her again. "Do you know where she went?" Mrs. Collins thought for a moment. "I believe she moved to a village nearby." Willow Hill. Emily took a deep breath. She knew what she had to do next. "I have to find Emma," she said. Mrs. Collins nodded. "Then go, dear. You've come this far. Don't stop now." The next morning, Emily and her mom drove to Willow Hill. Emily had told her everything about the letter, the necklace, the map, and the diary. Her mother was surprised, but believed her. Willow Hill was a small, quiet village with friendly people. Emily asked around and finally found a house with a white fence and red flowers. A woman in her 50s came to the door. "Hello," Emily said politely. "Are you Emma James?" The woman looked surprised. "Yes, I am. Can I help you?" Emily showed her the necklace and the photo. Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Where did you get this?" she asked. Emily explained everything, from the letter in the cupboard to Lily's diary in the attic. Emma invited them in and sat down slowly. "I thought no one would ever find the truth," Emma said. "Lily was my best friend. We discovered something hidden in your house when we were children. An old letter, just like the one you found, led us to a necklace. But one day a man began watching us. Lily said he was dangerous. I was too scared to help. And then she was gone." Tears rolled down Emma's face. People thought she ran away. But I knew something was wrong. I tried to tell others, but no one listened. Emily gave Emma the diary. She read it carefully. This proves she didn't leave on her own," Emma said. "Thank you, Emily. You've given me something I lost a long time ago. The truth." Back in town, Emily and her mom went to the local police. They showed them the diary, the photo, and the letters. The police opened an investigation. Weeks later, the news spread. The man Lily had written about had been living nearby under a different name. He had stolen things from old houses and left no trace. But now, thanks to Emily, the case was reopened, and Lily's name was cleared. Emily was called a hero at school, but she didn't care about the attention. She was just happy to help. Mrs. Collins gave her a warm hug. "You brought the truth to light, dear, just like Lily hoped someone would." And Emma, she started visiting the house again. She brought flowers to the garden and placed them near the rosebush, where Emily had found the first clue. One evening, as the sun set, Emily stood by her window. She looked out at the garden, the red rose glowing in the light. She smiled. "Thank you, Lily," she whispered. "Your story is safe now." And with that, the mystery that had been hidden for years was finally solved by a brave girl with a kind heart and a curious mind.